Hey everyone, it is Shelby. Last time I made a video, I was in the hospital, so I have a lot to fill you guys in on. And I'm looking really freaking weird right now. Every time I think I look halfway decent, I end up putting this camera on to do a video, and then it's like, ooh, what happened? And my nose looks like super swollen today. I don't know what that's about. My sister, when she was pregnant, I swear to God, her nose spread like halfway across her face. I swear. Sorry, sister. I love you, but you know it's true. Okay, so I'm finally in the third trimester, so that's exciting. Um, and of course, like before I start these videos, I always like to answer questions that I had left on my channel from the previous video. It showed that I had a few actually, but for whatever reason, I can only see the one. I don't know why. So if I'm missing your question and you really want to know or you see this video, um, just send it again. I promise I'll answer it. But the one that I could see is from Atlanta Falcons #1. I'm pretty sure that's what I'm pretty sure that's what you're. I didn't write down this time, but you left a comment on my last one too. And you asked, "Am I scared of labor pain?" Not really, but only because I'm definitely gonna get the epidural. I kind of have to with twins. Like, it's just too unpredictable of a situation, especially now with me being in the hospital and I'm at really high risk for preterm labor. So, the epidural is kind of like the safest option for me. Otherwise, if things don't, things could play out and then I could end up having to have a C-section, which is what I'm really trying to avoid. But if I was happen to have a C-section and I didn't get the epidural, they would have to put me completely under to get the babies out, and I'm too sentimental of a person to miss my baby's birth and not be torn up about it for the rest of my life. So I'm definitely getting the epidural. Now, things I am scared of, I'm scared of the epidural. 100%. Like, I never ever wanted to get one ever. Like, before I ever got pregnant or anything, I never wanted to get an epidural. It was always against my plan. I always wanted to have a completely natural birth. And I still want to have a natural birth, so hopefully the girls will cooperate. But I'm like, if you don't know what an epidural is, it's basically it paralyzes you from the waist down, and that way you don't feel anything. But the way that it does that is they have to give you a shot in your spine, and that's the part that scares me. Whenever I get stuck with needles or anything, I tend to jump. Like, I'm not afraid of needles or anything. It's just that initial poke, makes me jump every single time, and I'm just terrified that I'm going to jump. Because first of all, they give you this thing when you're in the middle of a contraction, like the worst possible time, in my opinion. Like, you're just asking for trouble. But yeah, so I'm afraid I'm gonna like jump and then I'm gonna like paralyze myself for the rest of my life because that's how my mind works because I'm crazy. Um, let's see. So as far as me being in the hospital, I was in there. I got admitted Thursday around 9:30 in the morning, and they finally decided to send me home Monday around 6 p.m., which at first I did not think I was going to get to come home. The nurses were like under the impression, and even the doctors kind of weren't giving me a straight answer, but the nurses had me under the impression that I would be in there until I was at least 32 weeks, which is, the next safe milestone. They'd still be obviously preterm, but there's a huge difference right now. Like, every week counts, every day counts right now for how long I keep them in there. So I mentioned in my last video why I was in the hospital with my short cervix, and I was also having contractions. Oh, which brings me, hold on, let me backpedal here for a second. Will you say if I'm scared of labor pain? I'm not saying I'm not really even scared of contractions, and that's because, well, I'm not scared of labor pain. Number one, I'm not going to be able to feel most of it because I'm definitely getting the epidural. But you have to be progressed so far before they'll give you that. And I'm not super terrified about the contractions because while I was in the hospital, I was having them and they were pretty decent contractions. Like, they weren't little contractions. And I honestly was hardly even noticing them. Most of them I didn't notice at all. It was just because I was like a crazy person, like staring at the screen every time I was hooked up to the monitors, watching the girls' heart rates and everything. Sorry, I'm either gonna burp or hiccup or puke any minute now. But yeah, so people compare contractions to like really bad period cramps, which I've had before. And like I said, I wasn't noticing the contractions I was having while I was at the hospital. So I'm pretty confident I that I would be able to do it without the epidural if, it was the situation wasn't so unpredictable. I don't know, I say that. I'm new to this, okay, first time mom. All these other moms probably watching this, like, bitch, you don't even know what you're getting into. But that was my plan. I like to have plans. My plan's not really working out because I can't make a plan because the girls aren't really cooperating. My body's not really cooperating at this point. So they ended up releasing me from the hospital, but on extreme bed rest. Like literally extreme bed rest. Like my papers say bed rest or strict bed rest with bathroom privileges. Like it's a privilege for me to go to the bathroom. That's how much they want me sitting in a bed or on a couch and like not moving. Um, which bed rest is the hardest thing I've ever had to do. If anybody thinks, oh God, that sounds great to, be told you have to stay in bed all day. No, it's freaking miserable. I can promise you it's the most miserable thing. I hate it. I like can't stand just sitting here. I have no more Netflix shows to watch and I've only been on bed rest for a week now. Like it sucks so bad. I never thought I'd say I'd miss work, but I miss my job. I miss work. I miss interacting with people. The only people I've talked to most days are my dogs. And like right now, every single one of them are snoring. And usually when I talk to them, they look at me like I have three heads. So whatever. But my family comes over. My family's been coming over and doing a lot for me. I'm very, very, very thankful for them. But while they're here, they're like in the kitchen and stuff, or outside, or I want to be in the mix, man, but I can't. I'm stuck on the couch. So me being on bed rest this early was completely unexpected. Like, when you're a working mom of especially like multiples, you're pretty much guaranteed to get put on bed rest at some point. But this was a lot sooner than I thought, and the risk is a lot higher than what I thought it was. Like I always thought, like if I got put on bed rest, maybe I can be like, just work part time or something, and maybe nobody will find out about it. But that was stupid of me to think that. But that all comes down to the fact, just like single mom and over here, and have no way of paying my bills for the next few months if I'm not working. So I'm doing what I can as far as like working with my mortgage company and other companies that I have bills through, trying to figure out what I'm going to do for the next few months. My aunt is actually super amazing and started a GoFundMe page for me and the babies for the support that I'll probably need. These girls are at very high risk of coming super early, and if they do that, they'll have a very lengthy NICU stay, and I do not want to have to go back to work while the girls are in the NICU. I want to be by their side for as long as possible. So my aunt set me up a GoFundMe page. I think it's called Support for Sweet Baby A and B by Amy Dennis. That's my aunt, and she's awesome, and I love her so much. She's been doing so much for me lately. Um, so if you feel compelled, me and the girls would super appreciate it. Yeah, I don't ask for help like that unless I desperately need it. So that's like me super swallowing my pride and letting you all know how bad my situation is going to be for a while because, I mean, I'll probably be out of work for the next at least 3 months. Uh, so when I was in the hospital, the NICU specialist and neonatologist came and he gave me, they told me to do a tour of the NICU and everything. They were really expecting me to have the babies within the next week or so when I first was admitted, I think. Uh, Now, it's kind of just they could really come at any time. I'm trying my hardest to stay in bed or on a couch as much as possible, but sometimes I just have to get up because I know it's not safe, but I just have to, like, to keep my sanity. Uh, let's see. So he had a lot of the neonatologist told me, like, if they were to come this early, he gave me all the circumstances. Sorry, I'm like lopsided right now. I have a real professional setup, you guys. My computer is on pillows on my lap. But so the doctor, he gave me all the possibilities of like things that could go wrong or could happen to the girls if they were to come this early, other than the fact that, they'll be on ventilators obviously and have feeding tubes. Which the steroids they gave me, I got a shot in both butt cheeks over the course of 2 days. But the shots that they gave me, I mentioned in my last video, were to help like get their lungs to progress faster or mature, that's a better word for it, mature faster so they'll be able to breathe. So hopefully they won't be on the ventilator for very long. But, they'll, if they come this early, they'll still have to go on the ventilator. So it's, there's like, they could get brain bleeds, they could get blood vessels that build up behind their retina, which could cause, poor vision or blindness. But the neonatologist seemed super confident in the fact that my girls would overcome all of that. He says their chances are very high of living like a normal, leading a normal life and everything after they get out of the NICU. He doesn't see any long-term issues happening with them. Obviously he didn't guarantee that because you can't guarantee that when babies come this early. Anything crazy could happen. But he said, and I got such a good laugh out of this, I have to share it with you guys. But he said that girls, for whatever reason, preterm babies that are girls have like such a much higher chance of having no issues. And he said, other than little boys, and he said they refer to it as wimpy white boy syndrome. You guys, I laughed out loud in that hotel room. It was so funny the way he said it. But apparently little girls just do better than little boys do when they're born preterm, and they, end up having a lot less issues. So, he seems super confident, so I'm going to say super confident that even if my girls were to come this early, they're going to have normal lives, once they come out of the NICU. So I've had a few friends reach out to me and ask me like, how am I staying so positive about this, and have I not cried and this and that. And I just kind of, I'm one of those people, I just don't really see the point in crying over it. And obviously when they come, it would be scary to see them in that situation, but staying positive is the only thing I can control about this right now. I can't control even if I stay in bed, I can't control if my body decides to keep progressing towards preterm labor. I can't at this point. There's nothing I can do as for like the baby's health other than like resting, like the doctors say. The only thing I can control is staying positive, and I feel like that's my best chance or the best option I have as far as like the health of my babies right now. Um, I could sit here, if I sat and thought about it long enough, yeah, I could probably cry about it, but what is that going to help? It's not going to help anything, and I just prefer to stay positive and just, you know, be confident in what the doctors say. If the doctor came in and was super, super worried that something terrible was going to happen, then of course I'd probably be melting down, but he didn't sound super crazy worried. You know, I mean, some of the doctors seem, it's obviously not a good thing for them to come this early. Okay, yeah, I get that, but it's also, they're gonna be okay. Like, I have that in my head, I just know it, and if you think it'll happen. I won't say that for everything, because I also didn't think I'd be put on bed rest that soon, and look what happened, but there's just there's a lot of stuff that's unpredictable about this pregnancy, which has pretty much been the entire pregnancy. And the only thing I can control at this point is my attitude. And my girls are going to be here at some point, and I'm going to love the shit out of them. And I'm going to be a kick-ass freaking mom, I can tell you that much. Uh, okay, I'm going to try to cut this a little short. It's getting late, and I think I'm getting a little bit loopy. But I just want to thank everybody. If you're watching, thank you so much. If you have any questions, please leave them below. Um, Thoughts, prayers, good vibes, anything you offer, keep sending them this way. Me and the girls could definitely use it. Um, okay, I love you guys. Let me show you this belly. Give me 1 second. I'm telling you guys, everybody that's seen me last few days is like, oh my god, you're huge. Like, dang, come on now. I mean, I guess it's just from sitting on the couch, but let me show you how big this belly is. Okay. Look how big I am. I never thought I'd be this big. I keep saying that and then I keep getting bigger. But it is so hard to get out of bed. Like, I look like a turtle on my back. I'm almost positive. I have to sleep right next to the edge of the bed or else I cannot get out. They're so big. No stretch marks though, you guys, though. That's exciting, right? Woo! Okay, that's the belly. Hi, Stinky. Hold on. Hi, Stinky. Caesar's making his debut. Caesar loves the girls. All right. Thanks for watching, guys.